What I've noticed through Boise is the relationships that are built. Sometimes you're seeing mentorships form, partnerships form. So if you're coming into this and you're wanting to learn more about it, why not be in a room full of people that are actually doing it and doing it right now in our market so they can walk you through all the goods and the bads of it and educate you so you make informed decisions.
Welcome to the Idaho Real Estate Investor Show, where we bring strategies and knowledge that will help you succeed in Idaho's ever changing real estate market. I'm Jonna Weber. I'm an Idaho investor, realtor, and entrepreneur. I've been successfully investing for over 2 decades and helping countless others do the same. We'll bring you real stories from successful investors, expert advice, and insights to help you build generational wealth through the power of real estate. Whether you're just getting started or well on your way, let's jump in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Idaho Real Estate Investing Show. I've got a friend of a few years with me now on the podcast, Paul Anderson, and y'all are going to really enjoy learning more about Paul's background, yes, and his tremendous depth of lending experience, yes. But one of the things that we're really going to be diving into today is about what is going on right here in Idaho, the market, the Treasure Valley. He's in the know on all these cool projects and growth initiatives happening around the valley. So we're just going to have a conversation. So if you live in the Treasure Valley or even anywhere in Idaho, or if you're thinking of investing in our beautiful state, I think this is one that you're definitely going to want to listen to, maybe more than once, and pick up on what is really happening around here. The knowledge is power. So the more that we know, the more that we can make strategic decisions with how we're going to invest in this beautiful state. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Paul.
Good to be back, Jonna. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Yes, as we were speaking just before the show, we got a chance to visit a little last night. We just had a big connection event with Idaho Reen, and it was great catching up with you after a beautiful summer. And we're settling into fall. When this comes out, it'll be a little bit deeper into fall. And I don't want to forget talking about this. We're going to be right before Idaho Recon. And
Got to
that is a
talk about that.
conference coming right around the corner, October 10th. And I know that you're participating in that, Paul. And I thank you so much for your support of Idaho Recon. If someone's just listening to this while we're on this topic, if someone is just getting started in investing and they don't know if they belong in that room, what would you say to them? Why is it important to go to a conference like that?
I think you absolutely belong in that room because just like all of us, we've been doing this all our life, but there's still things that we don't know. And there's what I've noticed through Boise is the relationships that are built. Sometimes you're seeing mentorships form, partnerships form. So if you're coming into this and you're wanting to learn more about it, why not be in a room full of people that are actually doing it and doing it right now in our market so they can walk you through all the goods and the bads of it and educate you so you make informed decisions?
Great answer. Love it. Thank you. I did not want to leave the show without touching on Idaho Reen because it's going to be really fun to see you there and meet so many listeners that are tuning in, perhaps. And we hope that they all join us October 10th. Let's talk to the audience. Tell them a little bit about your key business and what you do from a financing perspective, Paul.
So for many of people who know me, the majority of my life, I mean, I know we've talked about this, but I started working in a real estate brokerage basement at like 8 years old for my dad before child labor was a thing. And so we've done that. I've come up through it my entire life. So I've been around residential, commercial, sales, lending, development, entitlement, all those fun things. But now really my big emphasis and focus is on horizontal and vertical lending for builders. As we were talking about before the show, and for anybody that's in the market knows that really new construction is the way that everything's going. There's so many people that during COVID, they got an opportunity to refinance into this phenomenal note rate of 3.5%, and they're never going to sell that home. So new construction is going to be the pathway forward for a lot of people to buy their first home, or if they're moving up, or even as we learned last night, 20% of investment properties, newer construction being paid for all cash. It's amazing. So what I want to do and where I help out is I take small and mid-sized builders and we work with them to get them the financing that they need so they can take that land and turn that into homes for so local people here have a place to live. And we can start with a lot of our guys helping get them on that path to home ownership.
Hey, Idaho investors, here's a stat that might surprise you. Over 70% of successful real estate investors say their best deals didn't come from the MLS or from a cold online lead. They came through their network. So if you're serious about growing your portfolio, it's time to get in the right room. Join Idaho REIN, the Idaho Real Estate Investor Network, an affiliate of the National RIA. We're here to inspire, connect, and equip you to build real wealth through real estate. Success doesn't happen in isolation. Get in the room where it's happening. Visit IdahoRean.com and join us today.
Love it. Thanks for the exclamation and the explanation. Can I talk today, by the way? So I appreciate that, Paul. And I think lending is such a broad space. So it's really helpful to get a more specific explanation about what you do. And I know you're just a huge resource in general with any kind of lending question. And I've experienced that myself. So I'm just glad to know you and have you in the community. And it's not very often we get to talk like person to person with people that have lived in this state for a long time. Are you native Idahoan?
I have never run too far off my leash. I was born in downtown Boise, and I've pretty much been here my entire life, so I haven't gone far.
Okay, you're kind of rare air around here
I'm a homer, truly. So
these days. And so this is good. I've been in Treasure Valley since college, so not quite as native as you, but I do go back 3, 4 generations with my family in Idaho. My mom grew up in Caldwell, so almost counts, right?
absolutely, Caldwell's
Yeah.
on fire right now.
Caldwell is on fire. Okay, so that's a great segue. Let's talk about this. We are coming at you from the Treasure Valley. And one thing I appreciate with you, Paul, being involved in all of these projects, you kind of have an insider track on some of the things that are going on in the valley. I kind of like to take it geographically, what your opinion is, and some things that might be happening in different areas. I know you and I are right here in Ada County. Let's start with Boise. Like, what what are some things that you might wanna share? Is there anything that you might know about that the general public might not around growth or things happening right in Boise?
I think the big thing in Boise right now, because I mean, they're kind of getting to a point where they're geographically landlocked unless they go out and annex some additional land, which they're always looking to do. I know they're trying to push further to the south of us, so south of the interstate, out more towards Kuna and annex land in there as developments come up. But they're always going back and forth with Kuna, and it's always kind of a struggle between the cities to figure out who's going to get that. The one thing that I see that Boise is doing really well right now, and it came about when they did the upzone a couple years ago, are infill projects. And the thing that's great about those is we all know affordability has been an issue for several years now. And through those upzone projects and those infill projects, we can get greater housing density, which allows builders to bring more affordable product to the market that allows people to own. I mean, a lot of townhomes, a lot of things, smaller footprints, zero setbacks, things that are allowing builders to build so they can keep building, keep their guys employed, and then create affordable homes for people in Boise. And then obviously you've got everything that's going on out in East Boise. I mean, you've got Microntropolis out there that's going berserk.
I wanted to get your take on Micron. What's going on out there?
What isn't going on out there? I mean, one of the members who was at the meeting last night, he works out there with the union, and so he's a really great resource. But they're going great guns out there, and it sounds like they're going to do a second building out there now. So what started out to be what it was initially, my understanding, a 3 to 4 year project, now maybe a 10 to 12 year project. And then so you've got all those people coming here working, they're needing housing. And if it's going to be a longer term project like that, some of those people are going to set down roots and anchor here. So, and then you get outside of Boise, you go a little further east, and you've got Mayfield coming in between Mountain Home and Boise. So, we're going to have a new city here pretty shortly. And they've already got a lot of the infrastructure in place for that. My understanding is they've actually started some vertical construction on housing out there. So, it's coming. So, so much going on.
Wow, I need to get out there soon and take a peek at that. And then, of course, you're going up to Mountain Home. I know in our investing circles, we're hearing a lot of buzz about Mountain Home, and we've even helped some people relocate there that are choosing Mountain Home
Yeah.
to live in.
Yeah.
And, that wasn't always the case, so that's a really interesting phenomenon.
Yeah, and there's a lot of projects under review in Mountain Home right now.
Are
A lot
there?
of multifamily. Well, the Air Force Base is expanding massively, and they're not doing on-base housing anymore, is my understanding. Those units have gotten to an age where they're no longer habitable. So they have huge housing requirements, and they've got all these military training contracts with Japan and Qatar and all these countries. And these are like, my understanding, 3, 5, 7 year type contracts. So the need for housing out there is incredible. And now you've got the casinos coming in. I mean, Mountain Home, I really am bullish on Mountain Home. I think over the next decade, that's going to really turn into something special.
That's interesting take on that, and I would agree from everything that I've seen there. So we got Boise, and we know about the zoning in Boise, Micron. Those are the two big things I was thinking about with Boise is our change in zoning code we had a couple years ago, and then the Micron expansion. BSU's thriving, of course, and I think that contributes too to big part of our migration pattern. I know personally as a realtor in my day, I helped a lot of people that moved here or got investment properties here because they fell in love with the city after their kids came up here to school, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard that story. I can't tell you how many times or their kids came up here to go to school and they came for a game for a weekend. They'd never been here before. And they're like, we're buying a house and we're going to
Yeah,
let our kids live in it while they go through school. And then it becomes an investment property. They buy a primary up here. And yeah, here we go. So very, very common story.
for sure.
Yeah.
Let's edge out a little bit from Boise, or we're not really out of it, but right in the middle of Boise is this town called Garden City. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on in Garden City. What's your take there?
Garden City's thriving and it's great to see. So, growing up here, you go to Garden City 30, 40 years ago. So, I'm aging myself a little bit, but it was very heavy on manufacturing. And you can still see some of the remnants of that. And it was kind of a place for affordable housing. So, lots of mobile home parks and things of that nature, but it was always along the water. So the other side over there on the State Street side of it was always developed. I mean, you've got it's now River Club Golf Course. You've got a lot of beautiful homes over there, but you look across the river and you had some of these other developments and a lot of facilities and manufacturing. Now you're starting to see condos and townhomes and beautiful homes being built down there right along the river. And it's really thriving. I mean, they've done a great job with their revitalization. Kudos to them. They're bringing in great projects, they're developing them well. And along the way, they're still putting in some affordable housing. So they're allowing people to remain there, which is vitally important. So I think they're doing great. And I mean, who would now growing up here, I never ever would have thought you would drive through Garden City, you get on Chinden, and it's little wine shops everywhere.
Well, we had a
Everywhere.
beautiful event in a winery in Garden City last night.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I can name 5 or 6, and 25 years ago, you couldn't name a one. So it's really interesting to see the growth and evolution of Garden City, and they're doing great things down there.
And on the other side of Garden City, we've got soccer. I
Oh boy.
Yes, I sat in on a luncheon recently about the everything that's going on with our professional soccer teams coming to town. I'm on the email list. I know where they're almost sold out of season tickets for it. We've got soccer games starting next March.
It's crazy.
I mean, and they're already talking about how they're going to expand the stadium after they max out what they have, like
Mhm.
up to 16,000, I think.
Yeah.
So
That
huge.
what a beautiful place to do it, and they're taking that land and they're gonna turn it into something wonderful, a great destination that's gonna create so much commerce there just in that little corridor that it's gonna be absolutely phenomenal for all the businesses around there.
Yes, and I have a couple of investment properties right around there, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Good for you.
Yeah, no, it's a great place, and, it's just been needed for a long time. I went into that place, the building, expo building that was
Yeah.
where we used to have horse racing. If
Yep.
many of you are listening that you're new to Idaho, you don't remember the horse races we had here in that part of Garden City, but, it was like a step back in time, the '90s,
Yeah.
'80s built, and the coloring and all of that. It's gonna be completely changed. It's really, really
Yeah.
exciting.
what a beautiful way to repurpose that land.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really, I think, the way that they're making ode to the heritage of Boise, even in what they've chosen for their logo and so forth. There's a ode to the Basque culture. I
Mhm.
think it's just great, and I think they're really invested in the community with is which is so huge.
Yeah.
That is very exciting. And then we're going out from Boise, and then we go out to the northern part of the county, and we go out into Eagle, Star, Middleton. Anything that comes to mind about what's going on out in that direction? And we can start with Eagle.
Kaboom. It's just blowing up out there. It's insane. I mean, you look at all the developments in the foothills. I mean, Avamore's still moving along. Now you've got Balnova. If you haven't been out there, I advise everybody to make the trip out there. I mean, that's a master planned community that's going to go from Highway 16 and it's going to go all the way east over to Highway 55 and it will abut Avamore. And so the infrastructure that's already in out there is incredible. And then you've got Hillsdale, you've got Willowbrook coming into Star, which should be about a 7-year build out. It's supposed to have a PGA Tour golf course, a resort hotel, and
I had not heard about that.
yeah, and so that's moving along. That's progressing really rapidly. And matter of fact, a couple years earlier than they had thought. And then you've got that whole State Street Highway 16 corridor there, and almost all of that land is accounted for. If you go and you look at that map, every builder, local and national, has sections of land built out there. So you will, over time, you will probably see thousands of homes over there out there over the next decade. And it's incredible. We're doing a development with one of our Boise Rain members right off of Highway 16 there by the old event center. And we've
I
got
toured that facility, that whole project. It's very
yeah.
exciting.
And we have just barely started scraping and pushing a little bit of dirt, and there's all kinds of interest and buzz. So the demand's there. People are coming. And I mean, it's crazy. And I never thought we'd be talking Eagle and Star and $800,000 affordable starter homes, but that's what the market will support. And I've been told from quite a few people, Anderson Reserve is putting a massive steakhouse in Star that is millions and millions of dollars of capital investment to put a wonderful steakhouse out there. So it's going great. And Middleton, they're a little bit more moderate with their growth, but they've got some really unique features out there that make it a little bit difficult to build in with some of the marshland and some of that. But they're developing some great stuff. Emmett, I mean, you want to go further north? Emmett's
Mhm.
going crazy. I mean, it's all over the place, and we get to Nampa and Caldwell, and they're like, "Holy cow." So,
Yeah, right.
it's
I lived in Middleton in the early 2000s.
okay.
And it is nice though. You do go out to Middleton and they haven't lost some of that small town
Yeah,
character, which I appreciate.
yeah,
But I know there's some luxury places going in out there. It's
yeah,
it's been eye-opening. So, okay, yeah, then Nampa Caldwell, but from Middleton, if people are listening and they're not really familiar with the entire Treasure Valley, you're just getting to know the market. Caldwell, Middleton, and Nampa are in a neighboring county, right?
yeah.
Canyon County.
Yep.
And there's definitely that's a longer conversation if you're looking to invest here. There's different tax districts and so forth. There's a lot of different factors to consider, but
Yep.
let's talk about Caldwell. I mentioned in the beginning of the show my mom grew up in Caldwell. I have fond memories as a little girl there, and downtown has changed. My grandfather was the manager of the King's Five and Dime store that was downtown for many
Know
years.
exactly where that's at. I
Yes.
do. Yeah, the building's
And
still there.
well, the building, it's not a King's
Right.
anymore,
Yeah.
but that was the history there, and then Caldwell was all but shut down for many years and was really depressing. My mom didn't even wanna go visit because she was depressed about it, because she had fond memories of downtown Caldwell,
Right.
but when we took her back there a few years ago during the holiday season and saw the lights, saw the skating rink, saw the little amphitheater, the cool restaurants, I mean, her face just lit up
Yeah.
on how Caldwell's back,
Oh boy.
and then
Indian
some,
Creek
right?
is doing it. That Indian Creek area is doing amazing, and there's a lot of revitalization, and there's a lot of new stuff coming in there. So we've had conversations over the last couple of months with their economic development and commerce team, and they are very dialed in. They're very business friendly, and you're seeing incredible restaurants. I mean, I can't say this with certainty, but I think out there, Mono and Caldwell, that is the only restaurant in the state that has a Michelin rated chef out there. Never would you
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you never would have imagined that. I mean, they just opened a new building. There's a wonderful hotel going in by Indian Creek now. There's a lot of land being spoken for. They're doing that massive airport expansion, which will allow them to bring in larger cargo planes. And I didn't know this till I'd met with them. According to what they were sharing with me, the Caldwell Airport has more airport traffic than any other airport in the state of Idaho. It far exceeds what's going in and out of Boise. A lot of it's commercial, but I know they were talking about even some very special people had fly in there. Tim Cook from Eagle flies in there when he goes wine tasting, supposedly over on Sunny Smoke. I'm like, the guy lives in wine country. They're like, no, they'll bring their jet up here and do that. And Amazon has a lot of interest out there, especially if they get that airport expansion, so they can bring in the larger planes and transport more goods. I mean, Caldwell's really going. I really see a lot of big commerce, big ticket type, big box type things happening in Caldwell over the next probably 7 to 10 years.
I would agree. That's some new news to me. Thank you for sharing that.
Hey, Idaho friends, if you're busy like me, you're always on the lookout for trusted professionals that can help you with your business, home, and investment needs. Whether it's a trusted lender, property manager, or a service provider that you're going to have come into your home or work on your investment property, there's always a need out there, and we want you to have great and trusted resources at the ready. In response to this, Idaho Recon has developed an exclusive vendor directory chock full of businesses that are ready to help our community. Head on over to idahorecon.com, grab your free copy today, and don't forget, let them know that Idaho Recon sent you.
We've got these little towns that are outlying even further out than Caldwell. Is there anything, do you have any predictions for the Parmas and Homedales and Wilders?
Yeah.
Are they kind of just chugging along? Is there anything percolating out there that you've heard?
I think they're starting to. Somebody had told me recently that over in Payette, there's about my understanding it's like a 250 unit housing development going out,
Oh, wow.
which would be big for them.
Yeah.
I've heard there's a lot of stuff going in out in Melba, out along the river, but it's more, again, this is more custom type built acreage estate type lots that are going in out there along the water. So I don't know that you'll see the big density out there, but perhaps, I mean, Homedale would be great for that, the way that they're laid out. It'd be for a production builder and be able to go in there and do that. And Caldwell keeps pushing that way. I mean, there's areas where they're kind of pushing right up against each other, so it may not be that far out. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as the growth continues to come and everything indicates it's going to, we're going to have to be able to find places for these folks to live.
Right. And you can see the appeal, especially more of the affluent population, if they don't have to make that commute into downtown Boise every day, and they're here for some for life, and the fact is they have to go a little bit further to find that these
Yes.
days. You're not gonna find it right in the city of Boise. So,
No.
let's step into Nampa. Nampa is a beast, and it's been growing in multiple directions.
Yeah, and that's the thing. All to kind of take a step back, all of Canyon County, there's so much land available out there. I mean, most people till they really sit down and they look at a map, they don't realize how big it is. Like Caldwell is huge, and most people don't think that, but it's huge. Nampa is going great guns. Ironically, I was having breakfast this morning with a friend of mine, and his sister is the economic development director out there. So he was sharing with me so much of what they've done with the downtown revitalization there. So like old downtown Nampa, they've done some amazing things and they're bringing a lot in there. And you're seeing a lot of industry come there. It seems like most all of Canyon County is very big on industrial and manufacturing because those are creating good jobs for their people. And again, for their people, if you could keep them working where they live and not have to come into Boise and Meridian, that would be even better for them. So I think we'll see more business growth out there. They're very
Mhm.
pro business. And then south of the interstate, Nampa is growing like gangbusters. And there's so many developments projected to happen out there over the next couple of years. So I think that's going to be a continuing pattern. And you're seeing everything. north of the interstate to Chinden starting to fill in. And so where it used to be a farm field or a couple sections of land, you will see something on it soon.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think our roads are a whole different conversation.
That's a mini series.
I know.
And that's like a mini drama. Yes. So
God bless the ACHD.
thank you
Like,
guys. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, there's a complex situation here. We've done a lot of growth without a lot of infrastructure on those roads, and so but it's just a different conversation too, having it now in 2025 after experiencing COVID and so many people working remotely than it was, that we could have even imagined, right? So hopefully, it will contribute people working remotely or coming up here and, being empty nester or retired, that kind of thing, that will help not contribute as much to the issue. If going from Nampa, we're then close to Kuna, which is back in Ada County.
Yeah.
Cuna's going big buster. Is there anything that we should know that's up and coming in that area?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how CUNA evolves because obviously we've got Meta out there now, and then
Mhm.
Google has taken down, I believe, they've got a 620-acre parcel that they've taken down for a data center build out that's expected. They're saying a 10-year build out on that. But it's my understanding from a friend of mine who does a lot of data centers that typically they all come in close to one another. So I think he did like 5 of the 7 data centers in Reno, and he said, "We're very similar to Reno. We have the right climate for it. Land prices are affordable, power, water, we have all the resources that they need." So he said, "What you'll probably see is over the next 20 years, 5 or 6 data centers out there." So that's gonna really change Q, and I don't know the end result of that.
Yeah.
Then as you see CUNA and you start pushing more towards the east, you've got all that land out there south of or south in that CUNA area and out by where the Department of Corrections is. And we're hearing that there's going to be a lot of industrial space built out there, especially with all the micron stuff. And I've heard talk, I haven't seen anything concrete, but like Cunamora would need to get expanded so they could be running out there closer to micron and then now tying into Mayfield as it comes online. So I think we'll probably see a lot of tremendous infrastructure work out in Kuna. And I know there's talks in Kuna of taking Meridian Road, and rather than where we currently go right to head into town, they're actually talking about punching that all the way through to Swan Falls. So, and that makes sense. The way
Yeah.
the trajectory for the growth is happening, that makes sense. My understanding is that there's an approved Costco that's going to be right there on Meridian and Lake Hazel. So, kind of Meridian, we're seeing
You're spilling so much tea. I love it. Thank you.
there's a lot going on right now.
There is, and yet we also have the feeling it's an interesting time in 2025 in the world in general, of course, but in the Treasure Valley right now because of in the immediate now, we're also seeing some homes that aren't selling as quickly and builders offering incentives, and yet we still have the bullish construction that's starting up and the plans being approved. Why do you think that people are continuing to be so bullish? Is there data behind the people that are still going to continue to flock into Idaho?
Yeah, I think there's data to support that. There's a lot of thought that monetary policy is going to get better, whether or not that actually happens. But I guess the other side of it is if you're a builder, you have to continue to build. So
Mm.
you have to take risk. If you're a lender, we have to continue to lend. So we have to keep those things moving. And yes, we've seen a little bit of stagnation, but not a lot. And it kinds to tend to ebb and flow. And so it will be really interesting. I mean, we were talking about this last night with Amy, and my man, I've talked to several agents that I know who have listings, and the traffic is really stagnant. The interesting thing I'm seeing, and one of the commonalities I'm seeing is people who probably bought during COVID or shortly thereafter, they're trying to sell a new construction home in a neighborhood where the builder is still building that model. And now they're competing with what you said earlier. I can buy a brand new home, very similar price point, but then I can get X amount of incentives or concessions from the builder. So for that existing retail, as little of there is, it makes it really hard for the consumer to go, oh, well, I can get this from the builder brand new and I can get all these perks with it. And so I think that's another struggle we're seeing too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, it's so interesting, and this is why it's so important for people to get in community and get in relationship with people that are in the know, like yourself, Paul, because you can't just rely on what's going on. We have some great local news stations around here, so I don't want to knock everything,
Yeah.
but you're just hearing this 30,000-foot view, or you're hearing something echoed here that is coming from DC or across the country, and
Yeah.
it's not specific to our area. And it's really important to really get your ear to the ground and hear what's actually happening and look at
Yes.
that future forecast. Because when you hear things on the news or read in the paper, they're often just repeating things that were happening in the market months and months ago,
Yes.
and it's old news.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
thank you so much for sharing all these specifics. I learned some things today. I'm not recording this at night. I don't know why I said that, but I am just fascinated by all of the happenings that are coming around the valley. And if you are looking at investing in this valley, it sounds like you're pretty bullish.
Yeah, I am. It depends on the asset class of what your goals are. I think, like right now, single family's tough to make it pencil. But it depends on what your strategy is. I'm seeing different asset classes. That's maybe where more industrial comes in. We're seeing a lot more syndications here in the valley for people who truly want passive income and they don't want to be a landlord and they don't want to deal with tenants. So I think the money is made in either your ability to scale your portfolio or being able to go into larger projects that you share some of that risk obviously, but you just can't make we still have high interest rates, home prices are high. That's making that difficult. But the flip side of it is we see some people that they're exiting markets where they've lost money for years and they have this money that they have to put back into real estate or they're going to have a tax consequence. So a lot of 1031 stuff and ironically a lot of it is coming out of Washington state and California. So they are in a situation where they have to buy something or they're going to have a large tax bill. But it's a matter of structuring that in a way for them. So there's still opportunities, but the bigger things I see are in the industrial and the multifamily, be it if you're in a syndication, if you're buying into a REIT, if you're going in on something with somebody and kind of pooling the risk a little bit, that makes it interesting. Single family and multifamily in Canyon County can still work. The price points, obviously, as we discussed last night, they're better there and rents really aren't that much different once you cross from Ada County into Canyon County. So those typically have a little bit better upside potential. Of
Really good information. Thank you so much, Paul. This
course.
is great. And as we wrap up, what is the best way if someone is looking at seeking some funding, some financing for some new construction projects? What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Obviously, I would love it if people call me. I'm old fashioned, and that's part.
Love it.
I always say to me, being able to do this and talk to people, that is the joy in the journey. So that's how I find my joy in the journey. But you can go to my website. I've got verticalfundingcapital.com. You can find me there. My email's simple. If you're from here, it's boiselender@gmail. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. Or just pick up the phone and call me. I actually answer the thing. I don't know what to do when it rings, so I just talk. So yeah.
Sounds good. And if you're all listening and you're here in Idaho, please join us at a future Idahoan event. Paul is usually there. He's there listening, and sometimes he's one of the last in the room talking about these topics. And you can tell when someone is passionate about what they do and the state that they live in. And that's you, Paul. So thanks for sharing your dropping all this knowledge today. I appreciate it.
You bet.
And we will be in touch. I know others will be reaching out for your take on things now that they know you are truly in the know here in the Valley. So thanks so much. And listeners, thanks for tuning in today. If you got something out of this, I just appreciate you sharing this episode and drop us a 5-star review. That would mean the world. Let us know what you thought of the show and get in touch with Paul and myself and join us at a future Idaho Reen event.
Come join us at the conference.
Absolutely. Idaho Recon. If you're listening to this in real time, it's right around the corner, October 10th. And we'll have all of this in the show notes. Go and grow and have an amazing day. Well, that's a wrap for today. Thanks for joining me here at the Idaho Real Estate Investors Show. I hope you're leaving with new insights and inspiration to help you truly grow wealth through real estate. If you enjoyed the show, Do me a favor, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with those that can benefit from it. Go and grow, and I'll catch you on the next episode.